I'm pleased to share with you the findings from the JLL third Global Corporate Real Estate Survey, where we've surveyed in excess of 500 corporate real estate executives globally. The good news is over 66% of respondents have said that the CRE mandate has strengthened over the last 2 years, which is great news for the industry. I'll share with you briefly the key findings that are really revolve around 4 main areas, and they relate to productivity, to cost, to strategy and to performance. Firstly, productivity. 77% of respondents indicated that productivity has grown over the last 2 years as a higher initiative in their organisation than it was previously. And this is great news. The other interesting statistics is that most people indicated their growth in productivity has been between 6 and 10%, which is fantastic. I guess the bad news really relates to how many people were unable to quantify or measure productivity, with 45% of respondents saying that they weren't able to measure productivity. 88% of people have said that the productivity gains have essentially came from reductions in costs. So reducing the cost of inputs has led to greater outputs and hence productivity gains. This is not sustainable long term as a productivity enhancement, just focusing on the cost side. In our white paper that you can access, there is a framework that has been developed around how you can ensure that you maintain sustainable productivity ongoing. The second area is cost. Cost is here to stay. Since the global financial crisis, there's been a lot of focus on cost and consolidation, and the corporate real estate executives have stepped up and achieved much of the cost savings that were required of them. The downside of that is really this focus or unrelenting focus on cost. But how much more cost can we really find? We need to shift the focus in the conversation to value. Cost is much easier to quantify and to communicate as opposed to value, and so the problem or difficulty is slipping back and focusing only on cost. 56% of respondents said over the last 2 years they have had a cost-focused strategy, which means that cost isn't going away. But in order to achieve the value side of corporate real estate, we need to shift the conversation and can do that through our next area of strategy. Strategy means a lot of things to a lot of different people. For some, it's as simple as a strategy at the asset level, which is really more tactical strategy. Others see strategy as aligning your corporate real estate with your organisational objectives, or even through to the pinnacle of strategy, which is internal stakeholder management. Whichever part of strategy you're dealing with, it's important to understand there's layers of strategy and ensuring that the conversations that you're having with the stakeholders internally are aligned. So if in fact you're talking to the stakeholders around aligning the real estate with the business, you need to speak in the business language and refer to growth and profits, customer and people, which are many of the main initiatives that organisations are undertaking and trying to follow and achieve. The final area of focus is around performance. Excellence in corporate real estate is as much about people as it is about property. When asked, less than 50% of respondents indicated that they had good, robust approaches to gaining ideas and promoting those in their organisations. They did not have robust strategic planning and no formal client relationship management program. Many of these aspects relate to internal stakeholder management. The major constraint to performance, as rated by the respondents, with 58% saying that financial constraints is the biggest impediment to their performance. So again, it's an indication that cost is still there, and instead of creating the value of real estate, it's seen as a cost of doing business and will not get the investment funds to undertake the initiatives required to move the business forward. So in summary, the good news is the CRE mandate is stronger than it was 2 years ago. And if you can enhance or show that productivity enhancement is part of the real estate agenda, that will elevate CRE further in your organisation. As we saw, cost isn't going anywhere, but we need to balance that by demonstrating that there is a value side to the corporate real estate mandate. You can do that through strategy and identifying the various layers of strategy and talking about that at the right levels. And finally, the corporate real estate executive's role, full-time, is now stakeholder management. This is not a trend, this is here and happening now. Thank you.